So on the left we have Trails. He's a very good runner, and I think he's like fourth or something like that in terms of ranking. And then we have Ryan 7. He's not too far behind, and right now they are almost beat for beat doing the exact same thing. Even the double checking which palace this is. You can't actually tell palace 2 and 5 apart until you stab the statue, so that's why they went back in there and did that. They could have done it the first time, but they both happened to forget in exactly the same way, which is kind of funny. Hello, Mew Mew. Hello, Zero Wing. Hello, Elgord. And Jan Heffley. Yeah, I know, right? It's so boring. 2 links. What are these guys doing? Alright, so as usual, you can see these guys exploring the overworld. This is usually the winning strategy, because there's a lot of items in the overworld, like the raft right there, which are critical to progression throughout the game. I mean, it could be that all of the important items are inside the palaces, except for whatever you would need to get a fairy or a magic key or something. That's possible, but because there are so many more possible item locations on the overworld, it's statistically much more likely that oh, Trails got his butt kicked by that Glugaria for 5 experience. That doesn't feel good. Anyway, it's just statistically much more likely. Don't fight him again. He's only 5 experience. Just go the other way, Trails. Oh, buddy. You can walk 2 ways. Just walk the other way. Alright, anyway, Ryan finds Bagu's house. That'll let him go to the other side of Saria when he finds it. It's been like 2 runners for the last 3 weeks because, you know, there are just not enough commentators and trackers. So that's why. Alright, so Ryan 7 is exploring Death Mountain, and Trail Z just picked up a pea bag from the Magic Container Cave, the first cave you usually go into. Pea bags are nice to get early on in the adventure, as opposed to later, because you're using those extra levels a lot sooner. The coast of this particular Western Hyrule has a lot of temples on there. All right, and there's Saria. When Ryan Sevens finds Saria, since he has Bagu's letter, and now Trails does, he's going to be able to walk right through to the other side and get the free spell. But that's not where Ryan Sevens is going. Trails doesn't really seem to be interested in doing that yet either. He's going to finish exploring what he can get to on this side of the continent, which is a smart idea. My weekend was good. Played some D&D, or rather I DM'd some D&D, and my players all had a lot of fun. I said it was the best session so far. So that's what matters in terms of that. And then I got some potluck tomorrow. Gotta make food for after this. Alright. So while Ryan Sevens is stuck in this random encounter, with tons and tons of Grias. Or maybe this isn't the vanilla. Maybe this is not the straight Swiss flag set, because I don't think you would normally have this many large enemies in this particular encounter. So I believe it's not a straight Swiss flag set. Those red Grias aren't too bad in terms of experience, but I know the oh, okay. So Ryan 7 just found one of the kind of the whammy hints. It said like explore west to find the 500-point P bag. There can be at most one hint that leads to like a P bag or a life or a magic container, heart container, something that's not essential. Yeah, go west to find the 500-point P bag. So when they are exploring the West, they'll find that 500-point P-Bag. It might, in fact, be the one that Trails already found in Medicine Cave, and... Sorry, Magic Container Cave, and Ryan Sevens has probably already found it too, and I just didn't notice. In addition to that hint, the people who normally collect the spell items from you, they also will tell you where the item is located in this particular flag set. Those are called spell hints. And if you have spell hints turned on and helpful hints, if you have spell hints turned off so that those particular NPCs don't help you out, but you do have the normal hints turned on, the helpful hints, then you can get helpful hints leading to spell items. Ryan hasn't found it yet? Oh, okay, well... Oh, you will. Oh, probably. And meanwhile, Trails is exploring some of the stuff that Ryan Sevens has already found. Trails has got the option of heading east immediately. But he's probably going to be heading through Saria with his Bagu ladder, so he can get all the rest of the overworld items. He saw firsthand how important that is yesterday when me, Raiko Rider, Trails, and Victor Santa Fe had a race, and basically the two of us that went east first before collecting all the items got our butts kicked. It could have worked out the other way, but statistically, you know, it is the solid play to go for all the items in the west before you explore east. So. Alright, now Trail's going to be picking up the mirror. That's one of the spell items. You have to turn it in Saria, but because it's so simple, it's, you know, considered a free spell, really. Did I win? No. I did not win. Which is a shame because the seed was a real gimme. I made the mistake of going east. So Trails just picked up Thunder. I believe Ryan Sevens already had that. I think I saw him pick up spell. I could be mistaken about that. I'm sure I'm mistaken about that. Okay, so Ryan Seven is in Rauru. He's going to be picking up a spell, and we're going to see what that one is. And also see what other spell he picked up. Strength and a Shield. Wow, that's the two critically important... Okay, so Ryan Sevens already has both of the critically important spells in the game. He might still need Fairy, but other than that, he's good to go. And Trails will still be good to go pretty soon, too. Alright, we got a boulder block cave down on the other side of Saria, and we've also got the trophy cave. It might seem a little bit hard to get that ache that flies down from the ceiling in trophy cave. We'll hit the glove too. It might be hard it might seem hard to kill that ache right off the bat, but in fact, you just need a little bit of timing and practice. It's not that bad. And those particular aches, the red aches, actually have a bigger hitbox than it might seem. They don't actually get smaller when they transform. They just look smaller. So with the glove in hand, and the Reflect and Thunder spells, they are almost in go mode, honestly. They could be in go mode. They have a Raft, they have the glove, Thunder, and Reflect. And in a perfect world, they're in go mode, or full dig shake. But the randomizer isn't always going to provide such an easy seed, so they could end up needing the boots to cross a river or to cross a shoreline or something like that. They could need the flute. They could need the hammer. No, what would they need the hammer for? Well, they could need the hammer to pick up the boots, or flute. All right, there's the trophy, and there's the last palace on the Western Continent in Ryan Seven's sights. It would also be, of course, nice to get the magic key, and they'll pretty much need to get either the magic key or the fairy spell. But it is technically possible to beat the game now. because if this flag set shares some flags in common with the Swiss, all of the P bags and free lives inside. No, just the P bags. All the P bags inside the palaces are going to be replaced by keys, making it a lot easier to find those. Trails is going in for the Rudo hint, which seems a little strange to me because there's only one more spell that they really need. So I also find it weird that he's going in for the Rudo. Oh no, he has trophy already. Never mind. Okay. Well, there we go. The life spell. Meanwhile, Ryan Sevens is in the Harktina Cave. Now, this cave is identical to the Parappa Pass-Through Cave, except this one has more enemies, and you enter it from left to right. There's another identical cave that you enter from right to left, and it has more enemies. Oh, key. Magic key. There you go. They can go in palaces now. Anyway, the identical cave that you enter from right to left that has more enemies than Parappa, that particular one is the second half of the fairy cave. So it's the right half of the fairy cave. Although there's like a little glitch where if you kill the Harkiner enemies and then you go into fairy cave, those enemies are gone. Alright. Trails picking up his reflect. That is until the enemies would normally respawn. It's a little weird glitch. They must share some memory data in terms of which enemies are stored where. Who is tracking? That would be the Alan Heffley, I think. Yep, because I have been not paying attention to it. We're probably going to see the runners going into the palaces now. I don't think Trails has the key yet. Yeah, he doesn't have the key yet, so he will go in pretty soon. I think this is Harktina Cave. This is where he's going to pick up his key. They'd probably want to just complete whatever palace is down here, and then up an A, and complete the other palaces that are up north, because the other two palaces they need to complete are in the northern section of Hyrule. And then just go east. And, you know, they'll probably want to make sure that they've got all the items from the overworld here. But I'm not sure if they're going to dig for any of the items, except maybe the P1 item, which is pretty easy to get. And they might stumble across the P6, P4, P3 items. And they might pick it up in that case. Because, I mean, it is possible that, say, Flute is required to open through Red Rock, or to pass through the River Devil, and you need, like, 7 magic tinners to get that particular item from New Kasuto. Things like that can happen, but for the most part, these guys are thinking they're pretty good right now. The levels, let's see, Ryan 7's levels I'm not as crazy about, but Trails I think is a little bit better in that respect. Trails is in Palace 2. This is the only, yeah, this is Palace 2. This is the only, or wait, is it? I'm feeling a little dumb now. Yeah, this is the only glove-locked room in the palace. So he's just going to take care of that first. Yeah, this is definitely Palace 2. I don't know why he's heading back already. I guess he wanted that Stalfel skill. Maybe he knew that the enemy didn't spawn properly. Not even caring about the magic, because he really doesn't have anything to spend it on except for Thunder, and he probably can't afford that yet. This is going to be a tough one. They don't have Jump or Fairy, so I'm thinking Trail's going to pick up this level up and just leave. He's probably going to up an A. Or maybe not. Maybe he's going to see how much experience this guy drops. This is one of the harder jumps in the game to do without any spells. In a maze lies across. That's a... yeah, let's see. Me and Trails were talking the other day, and he said that he feels that this is one of the harder jumps in the game. I kind of feel like, at this point, you know, just like up an A. But Trails is probably thinking, yeah, I've got 553 experience. I can pretty easily... Oh, wow, look at that. Look at that Dripper enemy. It's a blue IK, but it's a pretty low experience blue IK. Is he just trying to get, like, Magic 4 and then die? I know Trails doesn't gem abuse, but I feel like if he's wasting this much time waiting for the Dripper enemy, he could gem abuse and get more experience out of it than just picking the level. See, look, if he just went straight to the boss now, he'd get 1,000 experience from the gem. But, of course, that's going to be harder now that his levels are higher. He's going to have to get above, like, a 1,200 experience threshold in order to gem abuse. That's not something that's usually important in Trails, but, you know, if you're spending time getting experience, I feel like it's actually faster to gem abuse. Alright, and you're going to see Trails plow through enemies with Attack 4. Ryan 7's leveling has not been nearly as good. Trails is superior in level in all respects by 1 level. So Ryan 7's going to have a lot harder time getting through this palace. I don't think he's going to have a hard time, but he might take a few more bops to Helmet Head. Maybe he'll take a life loss at some point. And this bot is actually pretty dangerous. It's one of the weakest enemies in the game, of course. But bots can jump randomly right and left, and or just not jump. So that actually makes him one of the more dangerous enemies in the randomizer when you place near lava. Trails finds the item room in P2, and finds a very easy blue Iron Knuckle from the Mago Dripper. Sorry, from the Dripper, and he finds some Magos here. Picks up the medicine, which he's going to be able to turn in at Mito, and he's probably hoping for... he's undoubtedly hoping that the spell in Mito is going to be Jump or Fairy. Now with that item pickup, it's very likely that he's going to be able to get to the boss. Maybe not very likely, but I'd say it's 60% likely that he's going to be able to get to the boss just by going right. He was blocked off going left. Going left will never get you to the boss, at least directly, but it can lead you to like an elevator room that turns around, and that can lead to the boss. So that's why I'd say it's like 60-70% likely he can get to... Oh man, ouch. He can get to Helmet Head without any problem. I think Trails is momentarily considering whether... yep, here's the boss. He was momentarily considering whether to take the level or not. Sorry, to kill those Blue Iron Knuckles or not. If his magic level were lower, he would be able to kind of kill 1 or 2 of those Blue Iron Knuckles and get, you know, several thousand experience. Probably 3,000 or 4,000 experience from this gem. Because we saw that attack level 4 was 2,100. So attack level 5 is probably 3,000 or 4,000, something like that. But no, he's just going to be picking up the 150 experience from this. Or, sorry, the 50 experience or so from this. He is going back. He's going to grind some enemies, but because his magic level is so high, relatively, he's actually going to have to kill several of these enemies. Alright, well, he's just going to take the level and get the 1,400 experience. That's not too bad. That was a pretty easy game. However, that's probably going to be Life 6, which isn't particularly useful. Maybe it's Magic... Actually, I think it's Magic 5, and that is useful. Ryan 7's with his lower level is having a hard time with Helmet Head without any spells. Wait, he does have Life. Can he not cast Life? Anyway, for those who don't know, the main Fireball from Helmet Head actually does more damage than the fireballs from the little helmets. Considerably more damage, actually. And it does more damage than hitting the body, too. In addition to that, it's possible to hit the boss's head twice in every jump. You just have to do a ducking stab, a jumping duck stab, and then immediately stand up and turn that into a a normal standing jump stab as you're falling down. Now, Ryan Sevens is gonna get a pretty bad level from this. Yeah, he only picked up like 300 experience in that gym. But, you know, all this said, you know, it's not super important to get high levels, honestly, because you can beat the game at 555, and Trails is almost there. I mean, any of these racers can fairly comfortably beat the game at 555, as long as they can cast Thunder, which Trails just needs to find another Magic Tainer, he'll be able to do that. It is nice to have a little bit of comfort, though, from those higher levels. Ryan Sevens is the first to, among our featured racers to head to the east, and he is going to be entering one of the 2 item locations that are in caves in the east. Meanwhile, Trails, who has picked up the item from P2, is going to be turning it in, and he's hoping for Fairy, maybe Jump. Fairy is a potential block, so he's going to want to get that out of the way, and it'll also let him access up stab and down stab, but Jump will also let him, Jump will let him access up stab and down stab as well, and that's what he got. And it will be helpful in GP. Ryan Sevens looks like he was disappointed in the boots that he got there, but that kind of seems like the best possible thing he could have gotten. I don't know, maybe the flute was better? He seems so reluctant to pick that up. I mean, just picking up the boots unlocks the ability to get the water tile item. So it's not like you are losing out on any kind of potential. You're getting an item and unlocking another item location. Ryan 7 looks like he's a little uncomfortable with going through that Pastor Cave. I don't blame him. Pastor Caves can really take you anywhere. Whereas if you're walking, you really know where you are when you come out of there, and you know where, you know what palaces you're passing by, what towns, etc. Whereas a Pastor Cave just takes you straight to one end, and you don't know what's between where you were and where you are. So he was able to use his newly acquired boots, the ones he seemed so disappointed in, to bypass the Pastor Cave by walking over the cove. And now he finds himself at P3 and P6. I'm not sure I agree with Ryan 7's decisions to skip all the palaces that he's been at. He's only finished P2, and there were 2 other very easily accessible palaces that were right near the start, and Trails has entered one of them. I think it's P5. Yeah, it's definitely P5. Oh, I didn't see what Ryan 7's got there on the water tile. I think it was a free life. But yeah, the thing is, once he finishes up with the Eastern Continent, he's going to have to go back to the Western Continent. And if he'd just done those 2 palaces, he'd never have to go back again. Likewise, skipping that P3 or P6 or whatever it was, yeah, it's the same kind of thing. Like, he's going to have to go back there. He has all the tools at his disposal to finish the palace. Maybe he's afraid if it's P6, he'll need Fairy. And that's a reasonable fear. But, I mean, you could find out if that's a reasonable fear by going inside. And if it's P3, then there's no possible need for Fairy. So, I think Trails has got better routing here. Hammer. Well, I mean, Hammer's fine, but only if you need it for something. And as far as we know, they don't. Yeah, he hasn't gotten down stab yet. That's true, because he didn't pick up jump. Okay, so that's a good point. It is possible to get through P. Oh, is Trails going for the Eco Key? Yeah, he was, but it didn't work out for him. So he's going to try to go in one of the other directions in P5 and hope that leads to the boss. However, if it doesn't, then that's good for Ryan 7's, because Trails will have wasted some time in P5. It is one of the possible fairy blocks in the game. There's 2 possible fairy blocks. 2.5 possible fairy blocks in GP. There's 2 possible fairy blocks in P6, and there's this 1 possible fairy block in P5. And as his his options are closing off to him. It's looking like he is in fact fairy blocked, but he would have up and A'd if that was the last option. So there must be some other path that he knows about. Almost in zombie mode though, so just gotta watch out. They do have Thunder Reflect. In fact, those were the first 2 spells they got. So Ryan has Fire. I guess his magic level is too low to cast it right now. Okay, oh, brilliant. All right, so he can cast it, and it's Fairy. And even at this level, it can be used. I kind of feel like, hey, you got your Fairy, go get your down stab, go finish the other 2 palaces right near the beginning, and then retrace the same steps you just took to finish that P3 or P6. But Ryan Sevens wants to get the items in Maze Island. Again, I'm not sure if this is necessary. But they haven't gotten any containers at all yet, so maybe he's hoping for that to make things a bit easier. And I mean, the cross is going to make things a little bit easier, but it's not going to make GP any easier. Well, maybe a little bit. There's the possibility of an invisible Moa in GP, but it's usually a weak invisible Moa. Alright, Trail Sevens did not find a path to the boss, but he did find a path to the P5 item, something that he wouldn't normally get. So it seems like he is fairy blocked, but he picks up a magic container. So that's a nice consolation prize, I suppose. It's probably one of the items that he wanted the next most. He probably wants the boots the most, or a spell item the most, so he doesn't have to double dip any towns to get Fairy. We know that Fire is linked to Fairy, and it's in Old Kasuto, but he doesn't know that yet. Yeah, Maze Island is right there, but I mean, it's already been like 2 minutes that he's spent in Maze Island, right? And he's gotten the cross. But he doesn't need anything else. He's got literally everything he could possibly need, except, you know, maybe he needs a flute. But we don't know that he needs a flute yet, so if the flute is here on Maze Island, and hey, he found the item, cool. It's a heart container, so it makes things more comfortable. So he's found both of the items here, a heart container and a cross. That's good defensively. Let's see if he jumps into the palace, or if he up and A's, or what's he gonna do? Yeah, I get that philosophy. You're already here, and it's one of the better places to look for items. But, I mean, if you're already in go mode... If you're already in go mode, then you just go. But we don't know for sure that he's in go mode. There's still, let's say, a 53% chance that he's not in go mode, that he needs the flute. Although I wasn't looking at their flags, so it's possible that Three-Eyed Rock is not turned on. Also, the longer he waits to up an A... Oh, wait. Alright, he's got Fairy. He knows he doesn't need any more spells. I don't know, I kind of figured you pick up your upstab there, but... I mean, that's probably the best thing you can get from any of the towns now. Alright, so he's perhaps looking to pick up the shield spell in New Kasuto here. I think he has spell. Yeah, he has spell, so I guess he's figuring free item. Nice, it could be a magic container or something. Trail's 420's magic container is probably more useful than Ryan 7's heart container. So maybe Ryan 7's is feeling a little jealous. Alan, it's 50-50 for... Oh, there's another heart container. It's 50-50 for Three-Eyed Rock, but there's also a small chance that Devil is useful. So that's why I said like a 53%. So yeah, looking for the looking for the flute is playing the odds, technically. But it's by such a slim margin that a lot of racers might, and I'm not sure which camp I'm in, honestly, at this point. But a lot of racers might just be like, well, I'll take the gamble that, that 47% gamble that I have everything I need. And then if I lose that gamble, there's a chance that I come across a flute on the way there, so... So if you think about it in that respect, the possibility that exploring Maze Island is useful is less than 50%. And these are just the kind of things you gotta kind of juggle in your head as you're running a randomizer. It's a lot of it's playing well, and Zelda 2 is a great game for trying to play well. It's a nice fluid game with sort of realistic and weighty combat, or it feels realistic. I know it's a 2D sprite-based game. It's not really realistic, but it's a good combat system. It feels good to control the character, but a lot of it is also, making statistical gambles, judging, what's more likely than what else, and routing your playthrough accordingly. And you can see that as Trails is making his way through P3, and I've seen him skip some P-bag drops because he knows he doesn't need it. But he is going to be picking up this item in P3 because he's here. He's not going to try to get the kill on the blue iron knuckle. Interesting, he's up in Aang. But did he get the gem placed? He must have placed a gem. And I didn't notice. Okay, yeah, I can see it in the corner there. Yeah, he's placed a gem. Weren't there 3 palaces that could access, though? I'm a little surprised that he's not doing the other one. Because... Yeah, I saw Trails attacking a Rebanak out of the corner of my eye. It just didn't register, I suppose. Couldn't get to Guma. Oh, that's right, Fairy Block. Perfect. Now it makes perfect sense. See? Trails is doing things very logically right now. And with the boots, he's going to be feeling very confident. Ryan Sevens, meanwhile, found the other item cave. And I think he picked up a magic here and there. We'll see in a second when he gets into side-scrolling portion. But he's deftly evading the enemies, which is a great way to save time. Yeah, he did pick up a magic container in that other item cave. So Trails is going to find this Pastor Cave, and probably like Ryan Sevens is going to just ignore it and use his new boots to travel along the coast. Yeah, see? Smart. Alright, now Ryan 7 is heading to the palace on Maze Island without upstab or downstab, but he doesn't need it in this palace. It could hurt him, though, not having them, and only being an attack 3. It's going to be a little hard, especially if he encounters Blue Iron Knuckles in low passes. Maybe he'll just ferry through them and take the bop. I'm actually interested in whether that lake in the upper left-hand corner leads to anything. Because neither of the runners have checked what's past the lake. It's probably nothing, but... you never know. Yeah, Trails... I'd say Trails has a comfortable lead right now, honestly. Alright, Hammer on Water Tile. And that's what Ryan Sevens had also. So, yeah, they're good for New Kasuto. Yeah, Ryan Sevens already been in New Kasuto, though, and I don't think it was hammer blocked. I don't think they need anything else, really. I haven't seen Red Rock yet. And really, the hammer would only be useful if it led to the flute and it was required. And we do see that the River Devil does appear to be blocking pretty well. So maybe he's required. It's also possible that you could walk by him on the east coast of this particular continent. Or it's possible that there's a pasture cave that leads beyond him. Or it's possible there's nothing important past him, because the only thing that they need to find on this continent is the palaces. They don't need to find any other towns. Yeah. Yeah, GP was open, for sure. I just haven't seen all 4 of the palaces here. Maybe I have and didn't notice. Alright, so Ryan heading into, I believe this is Palace 4. I'll know in a second. Yeah, it's Palace 4. He's looking for Karok. Pretty easy kill. With his current experience, though, he's probably just going to end up with life 5. I'm actually a little bit worried about his experience level. Like, that's not something you normally say, but... he might be in a little bit of a rough spot. Alright, so he's found the item. Pretty cool. And Trails is getting fire. This is his last possibly required spell. Once he tests this out, he'll know that he doesn't need to look for any more spells. Okay, yeah. So he's done. That's the best. That's the best fairy you can get. Ryan Seven's picking up his 100-point P bag. Not very great. Yeah. Yeah, it's P4, for sure. Mm-hmm. I think 3 or 6 was somewhat in the middle of the continent. It was... to get there, you take the coast on the left of the dock, and you take that north, and then you travel along the swamp to the middle section. That's where 3 or 6 is. Good blocking from Trails until it wasn't, and good not falling in lava from Ryan until it wasn't. So we got a little toasty Link. That's what happens when you choose the boring Link sprite. Palace 4 has a lot of dead ends, so hopefully we won't see all of them today, but it feels like I always do. Trails swing into the beat of the music. You can make it. He was making it, but he decided not to chance it. Meanwhile, Ryan Sevens has found Karok, and he's going to be picking up about 100 experience from the statue. Because I'm assuming Karok's going to give him about 500 experience. Oh! 700? Is that a number you can get? Guess so. Alright, well there you go. I didn't... 700? Is that a thing? Okay. Yeah, I almost never see enemies drop 700 experience. Kind of forgot that could happen. So he did pick up a good level from that. Thankfully. So his attack is starting to get to where he wants it to be. These guys are going to want attack 6. Ryan! Where are you going, Ryan? He's going to turn in... Oh no, he's going to get his downstab. Cool. That makes sense. Yeah, poor Ryan, compared to Trails, Trails who picked up the jump spell early on, never had to come back to the the Western continent ever again. Meanwhile, Ryan did have to up an A, and he's going to lose some ground to Trails. In this section, in this kind of room where you have the horse heads, and in many rooms where you have I call them horse heads, unicorn heads. I kind of go back and forth. I usually call them unicorn heads. The sine wave dudes. It's actually beneficial not to hit them. It's so tempting to hit them, but then you kind of get them in a stuttered pattern that's harder to deal with. And what's even harder to deal with is when they're in a stuttered pattern and they are at different heights. So often it's better to just not attack them. Alright, I think Ryan 7's in P1. Nope, never mind. P5. But he has Fairy, so he's going to be pretty good here. So at least in that respect, he's going to be making up some time compared to Trails. And if I remember correctly... Oh, he probably wants to kill those guys. Fortunately, only with 100 experience each, but it's experience, so... But yeah, fortunately for Ryan, when Trails was exploring P5, he actually came across the Eco Key room, where you need Fairy. I think about halfway through his exploration. So if Ryan takes that room, then he should be able to to shave some time off of what Trails has put into P5. So he'll be able to get some of his time back compared to what he lost. Assuming he takes the Eco Key room. So we'll see. Meanwhile, Trails has found the fight location for Karok and should be mopping him up pretty quick. Karok is unfortunately one of the easiest enemies in the game. He's got a pretty cool sprite. You need a special spell for him, and that's kind of okay, but there's not really a lot to do except for sit in the corner. Sometimes you see people stab while they're blocking, but that doesn't really do anything. Trails is probably half tempted to pick up another 600 experience, but that would take a lot longer than it's worth, and his level's already pretty good, so he's just going to place a gem and get the 600 experience. Hopefully Ryan comes across... go up, Ryan. Okay, so he's going to go to one of the dead ends first. Yeah, and Trails is entering the P5 right now. Hopefully he still remembers the layout. I know if I take a break from a palace for like longer than 20 minutes, I tend to forget stuff. I don't know if it has been 20 minutes or not. Oh wait, it definitely hasn't been 20 minutes, but all the same, it's easier to just do the palace in one go. Picking up the hidden magic container drops. Fortunately, the ones that drop from the statues in P5, at least the gargoyle type statues, will always drop magic. They're not going to drop like a red iron knuckle on you. I think the standing statues that you can get the magic containers from in the later palaces have a 50-50 shot, just like in GP. But the enemy that drops is fairly easy. Ryan 7's, unfortunately, it looks like he's taken the wrong way. Looks like he up and A'd when I wasn't looking, because his experience is a lot lower than it was before. Yeah, I thought so. Alright, I think Ryan has found his way to the Eco Key room, right behind Trails. So even though Ryan has been in there for a lot longer, because Trails knew his way through, and Ryan didn't take the most direct route, he did fall behind Trails a little bit. But when you consider how long Trails spent in this palace earlier, he's still ahead in terms of investment into this particular palace. Trails did get a magic scene out of this, though, so there was that. Yeah, this room often tricks me too, Ryan. I think Trails knows the difference, and I don't. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. This is the trick room. No pass-through here. But I don't think he's seen the pass-through yet, so he was looking for it. The rooms look almost exactly the same. Some racers know the difference. I guess I should learn. One of them has a statue, and you can't walk through the wall, and the other one has a... I think it's supposed to have a mini-boss originally, and you can pass through the wall. So it could lead into Guma, for instance. Orion 7's not having the best time on this bridge. But he did get a red jar drop, which is nice. A lot of red jars in this seed. He's just going to cast Fairy through here. And because he used that red jar economically, he's going to be having full life, even though he cast Fairy already. Alright, so it's one of the hardest bosses in the game, but I think at this point everyone's got Boss Guma pretty much down. There is a very effective downstab strategy, and that's pretty much the only thing more effective than what Trails just did that you can do. I'd say that was a very, very good fight from Trails. He did some downstabbing in the middle of that, but crossing up Boss Guma like that is the way you want to do it, so you don't push him off screen. So that was really good. I could learn a thing or two from that fight. He's going to be heading back east. Let's see how Ryan 7's does. He has a lower attack level, so this is going to take a bit longer. And he's not doing the cross-up strategy, which, I can't blame him. I don't do it either. Yeah, the North America version does have a blue iron knuckle there, but I wouldn't really call that a boss fight. Or a mini boss. Especially since you can just skip it. Alright, that's Boss Guma down for Ryan 7. He did take a bop or two, not as graceful as Trails, but it's still plenty effective. His gem is placed. Meanwhile, Trails is in, I guess, P6. But you actually can't tell from the brickwork of the palaces what they're in. You can't tell by the color or the sprites that it uses for the bricks, whereas in the vanilla game you can. Because in the randomizer, that is one of the many things that's randomized. But you can tell what palace you're in, obviously by the room layouts, by the boss, but also by the pillars and capitals and the windows. Or lack thereof. So this pillar and capital that you see supporting those blocks, that's what you see in P3 and P6. And of course, you see the boss at P6 in P6. Trails, is he? No, he never goes for the, yeah. He goes for the somewhat effective strategy. He's got all these lines. Alright, so it's a 2-cycle, that's a very good fight. If Trails watches this in the future, you know, Trails, that could have been a one cycle if you jackhammered. I'm just saying. Me and Trails have been dueling about the jackhammer strat on Barba for the last couple weeks. Alright, Ryan7 getting his Ribbon down. So if he takes care of P6 as quickly as Trails did, he'll only be a few minutes behind him. So we can only hope. And who knows, maybe the cross that Ryan7 has will prevent a game over in GP and win him the race. I would love that if, like, the cross was the winning item. There you go, Icarus. Or is it Icarus? That's probably Icarus, huh? Alright, where are you going, Trails? Where's that P1 at? I guess it's in Valley of Death, isn't it? I don't think I've seen them go through Valley of Death, so it must be there. Oof, those hammers from the Doom Knockers, they do have a lot of range. Is Ryan7's? What? Wait. Didn't he just beat P3? He's in P3. Why are you going in for the item, Ryan? Oh, Ryan. Why? Why? Is it marked wrong? Did he not actually beat Rubenek? No, he did. I guess he's going for the item. That's unfortunate because... Okay, yeah, leave, please. Like, he's more than ready for this. Except for his attack level, he's more than ready. Right? Oh, Trails is gonna take a... Oh no, I wanted him to take a death for lack of cross. Alright, so he found GP, if he hadn't seen it before, and so now he knows that he's looking for Valley of Death for P1. I'm sure Ryan7 is uncomfortable with his 5 magic containers. Thunder is going to take up almost all of his magic when he fights against Thunderbird, but what are you going to do, you know? Looks like a pretty short Valley of Death, and Trails is going to make it way shorter by using the Fairy Feet technique. Okay, it's actually a fairly long Valley of Death. My bad. There is a maximum of 3 force encounters you can get there, and that was what he got. And it was also a pretty long path. P1 is going to be a really fast dungeon, so he's just gonna go ahead and beat it right now. Ryan7's doing the same thing. Is he also going for Valley Death? Oh no, Ryan. No, no. Do P6, buddy. Oh, Trails went for the item. Interesting. I guess the reason I was saying no is because oftentimes, you know, to avoid going through the Valley of Death twice, you would save out of the end of whatever palace this is, and then you just start from Northern Palace. But I suppose taking Valley of Death back would be faster to get to P6 and GP than restarting again from Northern Palace. I think it's a toss-up either way. Alright, let's see what Ryan Sevens does. If he goes immediately... If he goes straight down and to the left, he'll pick up a little bit of time. If he does what Trills did and check down and then go back up and left, then he'll pick up the heart. Oh, he's just going to go left anyway. Okay, so he's going to get the heart and save like 2 seconds. And normally people would check down from the elevator to see if they can go right immediately, which would take them to Horsehead. But I think Ryan Sevens wants the item. You know, for being kind of obsessed with getting the items in this game, Ryan Sevens is doing pretty well. But I do think it's possible that if Ryan Sevens hadn't been so preoccupied with getting the items, he would be a lot closer to Trails. So I guess that's a testament to how well he's playing. Trails, what is this? Alright, okay. Okay, it's done. I mean, it looked like he was trying to go for like a jackhammer sort of thing, but without jump. Which he has. Ryan Sevens, that's the wrong way. Turn around. Alright, Trails is on his way to GP. Missed that fairy feat, but as cheap as Fairy is by casting it through fire, he can basically try as many times as he wants, or almost as many times as he wants. He can try a comfortable number of times. Unfortunately, Ryan Sevens finds his way to a dead end. There's not too many more dead ends, so he should be at Horsehead pretty soon. He defeated the boss bot just now, though. Alright, entering GP at 57 minutes and 54 seconds or so. Let's just call it 58 minutes and see how much further behind Ryan Sevens is. It is possible that Ryan Sevens could take a left in GP somewhere. Oh, look at this! There's an Invisible Mo in this room, taking the bops. But like I said, the Invisible Mo in GP, my mistake, is not that scary. But, I mean, he has a life 8. Ooh, life 8. I think I vomited in my throat. Life 8. Trails? Come on. Oh, wow. Life 8 didn't help you. Maybe with shield, it would have helped. He had enough magic for shield. But he doesn't have shield, so... Yeah, early T-Bird, but that's kind of a bad thing, if you ask me. It does give you an opportunity to up an A and resupply after defeating T-Bird, which Trails might do, because he already lost a life. But I don't think he's going to. That's not in Trails' style. But the major disadvantage of early T-Bird is that it doesn't really give you any information on the palace. Otherwise, like, if there's a bunch of if you got like a bunch of branches to explore, and one of them has T-Bird, then you know that's where Dark Link is through. You know you're going the right way. But having an early T-Bird, it's like, well, Dark Link is somewhere in the dungeon. Oh yes. Finish up. Let me check here. Oh wow, RCS finished at 50 minutes. It's about 10 minutes ago, and Thurwolf finished at 57 minutes. Yeah, that's why Thurwolf beat me in the Swiss round of the tournament. Thurwolf's a beast. RCS is beaster though, apparently. A nice dodge from Trails. Right, if I remember correctly, P6 is pretty short. Oh, and GP apparently is ultra super duper mega short. So I can see how 50 minutes happened. That's not too unbelievable. Here we go. Stab. 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 And stab. You'll never see stab coming. But most of all, stab. And that's how you win. Now remember that, kids. You walk all the way left, turn around, and stab. The ultimate enemy in Zelda 2. So get your GGs in chat for Mr. Trail Z, who finished with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 1 minute, and 19 seconds. Oh, is that because this was a pretty breezy seed, Alan? You didn't even need flute or hammer in the seed. You didn't even really need the boots. Well, I guess the boots made things a lot easier. And I mean, the boots were just right there, so kind of easy. I'm gonna see if... Oh, you know what I should do? I should mark Trails as done so he gets his invitation. Oh, he's already marked as done. Trails is saying in the IRC chat that we already know what he did wrong, but I'm not sure I do. It's been a long day, so. Alright, so Trails is saying he didn't get the automatic invite, so Alan, if you could get that for Trails, that'd be great. Alright, Ryan is not fooled by this invisible Moa. No sir, not with a cross on his side. Yeah, sub 30 is possible in this seed. Oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that I can see that, Trails. I guess you did waste probably. Let's see, how much of a waste was that? Probably at least 6 minutes. Yo, Trails, what's up?
What's up, man?
So, you finished first on stream. I mean, I know it was third overall, and you seem a little disappointed about that, but as far as everyone knows, you're the #1 winner.
Well, up until now.
Wow, Riot Sevens just barely had enough magic to cast Thunder. That's interesting.
This seed was so free, man. If I would have just waited on P5, I just wanted to do it because they were all right there, and it ended up being long, and then I ended up full clearing it and then having to come back. I would have definitely finished at least 5 minutes before I did, had I.
Yeah, I think it would probably been at least 6, personally, because, you know, the Eco Key room was only like halfway through the palace, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know, and if I would have tried to set it up, I might have wasted more time. But if I was able to hit it, it was set up in the perfect way that you could do the Eco Key. But
yeah, I can't do Eco Key. I know you tried it, and I don't. You know, when you tried it and I explained to people, I wasn't like, oh, he missed it. Oh, boo hoo. It's a hard trick. I've tried it.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it before. I'm not that good at it.
Yeah, I mean, but it was a good T-Bird fight. Let's see. I think your Guma fight was excellent.
Yeah, I've got Guma down.
Yeah, it was the crossing up, and you even hit him with a little bit of down stab in there. So that was really good.
Oh yeah, I try to hit him with down stab every single time. I got him with down stabs quite a bit.
Yeah, so that was pretty sweet. Other than the 5, where do you think you could have gotten a couple more minutes and defeated our lovely Rose City Saint? How do you think you could have hosted Rose?
Probably just the whole 5 situation. I think everything else is pretty good. If 5 would have been free, who knows? I might have jumped into 6 on the way. I don't know, but after getting fairy blocked in 5, I was kind of discouraged to go to 6.
Yeah. Well, Ryan 7 is on Dark Link right now, so he should be finishing in about 7 minutes and 25 seconds, I'm thinking. But we'll see. There's pretty much no chance of losing the Dark Link if you use these corner strats. Or unless you have like almost no life. Well, there we go. So it looks like Ryan 7 finished with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 30 seconds. There was a little discrepancy between the SRL time and his time. I think on his clock it was like 25, like I said. But GG to him. And that was still a really good time. 1 hour, 7 minutes. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, like, this is easily a 50-minute seed like Rose got. If I hadn't went into 5, it would have been pretty close in my opinion.
Yeah, totally. It's been a little bit of a long day, but I'm trying to remember kind of where Ryan 7 went wrong. If he's not going to come in. So I'm going to wait a few seconds before I talk about that. Yeah, Ryan 7 finished 4th. And there are still more racers going. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, Ryan 7 finished 5th.
Yeah, he finished in 5th place. He got snubbed by Schmidt Games. Schmidt could probably hit. Dude, that room is set up. Schmidt's good at the.
Yeah, Schmidt's a pretty good player, so he sniped him by about 28 seconds, yeah. There's still more players coming, though. I think Brian 7 had a little bit of a hard time. Oh, he's asking if he wants to come in. So let me see if I can get an invite to him. Just go ahead and tell us about your general feelings about Zelda 2 or something.
Yeah, I mean, Alan Heffley sent me the join request. I don't know if you can do that to Ryan 7.
I can't.
Here he comes.
Sweet. Hey, Ryan.
GG.
Hey, Trails, GG. So was it just me and you?
On stream, yeah.
Yeah, it was just us two on
Oh.
stream.
Yeah, with just me as the comm and Leon Heffley as the tracker, it was probably more appropriate to do a 2-person stream, so it was just you two buddies.
Okay. I assumed it was going to be a 4-person. That way, people wouldn't know how many mistakes I made.
Could have made too many mistakes. You got sub 110 on it. There's sub 108.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that bad. It was kind of a half joke.
Yeah, so where do you think you could have picked up some time on your way through?
5 took a little bit of time.
Did he dip 5 without the fairy?
No.
No, I had fairy. I probably should have done 1 while I was there.
Oh, you know what did help out Trails compared to you? Trails actually picked up the trophy out of P2. Sorry, not the trophy. The medicine. Yeah. So he got jump out of Mito, so he didn't have to come back for downstab.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So that was pretty cool. But he ended up coming back anyway because he didn't have fairy for P5.
You dug 5 with a fairy?
Yeah, I got F in the A.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, fairy was required.
Yeah, there was that room, and it was set up perfectly with the bubbles for Echo Key. But like, if there were the flying Moas in that room, I would have been able to get it because they fly back and forth, and you can set it up. It'll take me like a minute, but I can do it really well if there's Moa in there. But because there was those bubbles, and the bubbles were set up in the perfect position, many games I'm sure could have, if he went in there with his jump spell, could have easily hit it. But
yeah, that Moa seems like that Moa's always in there.
Yeah, but he wasn't this time. It was the bubbles, so I wasn't able to hit the eco.
Yeah, I've tried Eco Key a couple times. Never gotten it, so I'm a noob.
I think I did it once, a year or so ago.
Must have felt good.
That's why I stopped doing it, probably, because that's probably the only time I'll ever do it.
The height of your achievements.
The setup is real weird.
You go out on top.
Yeah,
the setup is weird. You kind of wait 6 tiles to the left, and then, something like that, and run over when the bubble comes.
Mm-hmm. And you have to run at a specific time and jump at a specific time, turn around, right?
So, speaking of jump, when I did 6 last, and I was kind of scared I was going to get into the 3-tile room with that jump. But 6 ended up being pretty quick. I mean, 3 was pretty quick. 4 took a long time, and 5 took a long time, it felt like.
Well, at the very least, with P6, it had the easier tiles instead of the all vertical ones.
Yeah, it did have the big tiles, so that would have been quite a bit easier than those little mini pinstripe ones.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of looking around, I dug 3 for the item when I didn't need to, but I was really hoping to get magic container.
Yeah, I guess that's what you're looking for. You did seem, unfortunately, to lose a bit of time looking for items after you didn't kind of need to anymore.
Yeah, I was scared. I couldn't. I could barely cast Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured my levels were going to be low, so I'm kind of either trying to grind up levels or go in as I am, or try to find, another jar or 2.
Yeah, what was it? 78 magic for Thunder, and you had 80 magic or something like that. So if you got hit by a bubble for 3 frames, you wouldn't be able to cast Thunder anymore.
Yeah, that's what kind of worried me a little bit, and that's why I kept pausing, was to try to, do a little math and go like, okay, basically I can't take any bubble hits.
Yeah. Well, you did manage to take out Thunderbird with very limited resources, so I guess you didn't have Shield or Reflect cast on you at that time.
I was able to cast exactly Shield and Thunder was 80.
Okay, there you go then.
I didn't have
68 and 12.
I didn't have shield, but reflect was like 47 MP, even at like
Right.
magic. And with only 6 magic containers, you couldn't cast reflect and thunder at the same.
Wow. Usually Reflect's a lot cheaper than that.
Yeah, Reflect was a little costly.
I did see some use of that to block the hammers from the Doom Knockers at a certain point later on in the race. So that was cool. It's never fun going up against a Doom Knocker when he's in a low ceiling.
That happens in Palace 3 a lot, and Palace 4, when you're going in those T rooms and you come up the elevator, you can go left or right, and the ceiling's low. And they usually have blocks you can break on the up top that have like maybe a P bag or a key up there. And a lot of times, Doom Knockers like to hang out.
Yeah. If you have Fairy, you can try to get the magic pixel and hope he doesn't jump into you as you're passing by. But other than that, you just kind of hope he jumps and throws his hammer and go in after that, or cast shield or something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Trails, and yeah, Fairy was so cheap, you just kind of cast Fairy and just go through them, take a hit.
Yeah, I was taking advantage of that, but that was before I had Fairy. I think I did P3. P3 was pretty bad too. You had to go left for the item, and I can't remember. I think it was a magical container or something like that, but it wasn't really that useful. I mean, it might have allowed me to cast Thunder or whatever, but I found I found the item in P5. I don't know if you did too.
I kind of was looking for a while, and then I kind of stopped, and I kind of was, and I kind of back and forth, and there was a heart container was in 3, and I'm sure I was probably like one left from the item. So
there was well in Palace 3 it was a magic container. Palace 1 was a heart container. I remember because I ran into Palace 1 and I was looking for the boss and I found the item room and I was like whatever, and then I got it and I was like, oh cool, at least I have an extra heart container, because I blazing through the sea with only 4 heart containers the whole time and I was getting wrecked. I'm not even gonna lie, but that 5th one kind of helped out a little bit.
Yeah, P1 did have a heart.
Yeah, P1 was a heart.
P5 had a magic container, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and P3 had one too. It was the second one I got. I got 2 magical containers, one in P5 and one in P3.
Yeah, so how are you guys doing in the tournament so far?
Terrible.
I barely made it. I'm in the brackets, but barely. I have one more week, and I'm 2-2.
Tough competition, then. I mean, don't worry, Ryan. I'm also in the 3-1 or whatever, 1-3.
My first race was Buzz Thunder, and you guys know what happened during the second race, or the second week. I got kind of in trouble for misbehaving or whatever. They struck me for a race because of that.
Oh yeah.
I didn't race week 3. I got nailed for -1. That's what happened there.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
Which makes me even quadruple angry at the person with whom I got a strike.
Dude.
Wait, I'm not going to say their name.
All right. On that note, thanks for the restream, Mind of Me, and thanks Nightcrawler and GG Trails. It's kind of starting to get noisy here, so.
Yeah, on that note, I'm gonna get ready for work because I gotta go. But anyway, good luck, guys, on the round 4. You guys are both 1-3.
Yeah, I'm 1-3. I'm assuming Ryan is 1-3 also. I think I'll be able to make. I think I'll be able to pull out another win.
You and Ryan might be facing each other next week.
Yeah, that could happen.
I think there might be like Ryko, Ryder, and maybe Cross Product. I don't know if Cross Product is he might be 1-3 as.
Yeah, Ryan. I think me and Ryan would probably be about equal skill, so I think it's a 50-50 on that one.
Yeah, Ryan's pretty good. He's been playing since like way before I started playing, so I know for a fact that he's got some.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, I'm gonna ball out. I got work I gotta do. But thanks for the commentary, brother. As you.
Yeah, absolutely. Have fun at work, man.
All right, thanks. Later.
Speaking of work, we have a lot of people who do hard work for us to keep our weeklies on the air here. Thanks to Speed Gaming 4 for hosting us. Mind and Me was our restreamer, and so that's really great. We've also got the Alan Heffley who was doing our tracking, and of course myself, Nightcrawler, otherwise known as T Nightcrawler or Tony Nightcrawler, whatever. I did the comps, but thank you very much for the hosting there. Let me pull up a schedule of Speed Gaming 4. I don't have one up quite yet. Just take a second. And I hope, by the way, that our viewers got some enjoyment out of this race, because the biggest help is from our viewers. Because if you guys weren't watching, we wouldn't be streaming. And if no one was streaming, I wouldn't know about this game. All right, so on... Oh, there's nothing going on Speed Gaming 1. I guess there was a Splatoon New Game Plus tournament earlier, but that ended quite a while ago, I suppose. You might be able to catch the end of Mega Man 2 Randomizer. Speed Gaming 6 Final Fantasy just ended. So pretty much all that's going on right now is Speed Gaming 5 is in the middle of a Link to the Past Randomizer daily race, and those races have a very consistent time, so you're probably going to be able to catch the last third of that if you drop in there. And then Azure Dreams on Speed Gaming 2. Looks like we're in the middle of that one. I haven't heard of that game, so maybe I'll check that out. Hope you guys can find something there as well. And of course, if you're interested in more Zelda 2 Randomizer, in about an hour and 50 minutes, there's going to be a race between Unos and some other really good player who I don't have. Let me get that up real quick. Morning announcements. Unos and Buzz Thunder. And that's going to be commentated by Dig Shake, the creator of the randomizer, and Bent Glass Tube. So they're very good commentators. So it'll be nice to hear from them. Who restreamed Nightcrawler? Is it who restreamed Nightcrawler or who restreamed, Nightcrawler? Yeah, the restream for this was... yeah, Mind of Me. All right. Well, thanks again, guys. And I'm going to be pressing the button now. You all have a great night. Take care.